All right, so 1 month with Nano Cortex. Is the honeymoon phase over? Am I still digging this thing? Is it as great as I thought it was when I first got it? So, for those of you new to the channel, my name's Steve Sterlacci. I do all things digital amp modeling. I have a digital amp modeling podcast called The Silent Stage. Links to all that below, and if that's kind of your thing, consider subscribing. So, let's talk about this. When I first got the Nano Cortex from Sweetwater, I thought it was awesome. I really loved it. The initial impression this had on me was really, really positive. And I am here to tell you that with some caveats, that still remains true. I still love this thing. So what I've been doing is I've been using this every single day. And for reasons I did not expect, things I did not really think or expect to be doing with this. So for starters, obviously y'all know how it sounds. I mean, do we need to do sound demos of this at this point? They're kind of all over the place. This is going to be more user experience and evaluation from somebody that's been playing it. You all know what it's capable of sound-wise. So what I've been doing every single day is setting it up just like this. So right here, I've got my in-ear monitors, my custom in-ear monitors. I've got the X-Vive thing, the X-Vive wireless, and I've got a very short USB-C cable. And because this is USB bus powered and it's a recording interface, I could just plug this into my laptop wherever I am. So I kind of always have to take my laptop with me. It's not like I come in here all the time to work. So normally my laptop's mobile with me, or I keep it in my bedroom. As you know, I have a handicapped dog, or if you don't know that, I have a handicapped dog, Audrey, that has prosthetic legs. So sometimes I have to give her legs a break, which means that she's laying on the bed and she kind of can't just roam around free. I've got to keep eyes on her. So it's important for me to be mobile and have the ability to plug in. And most of the time, don't even plug in. I haven't practiced plugged in, I don't think, in years, if I'm being totally honest. And for the same reasons that I'm mentioning, it's because if I'm moving around from room to room or whatever it is, I don't just have amps lying around everywhere, only in here. And sometimes just living situation, playing plugged in isn't exactly agreeable. I've got this X-Vive set up on here. I'm just leaving this in here. This is my 72 ES345. We could take a second. You could take a second and admire. So because I can use this as a recording interface, it takes over the sound card on my computer. I basically am plugging in this small cable. This is my whole setup, and I'm able to practice. I can play to whatever it is, YouTube backing tracks, the tracks that we use for our Christmas show, our live tracks, whatever it is. I have basically free reign to practice with an actual tone. A lot of times I'm just practicing unplugged. I'm using like my phone speaker and practicing unplugged, which you just get a totally different sensation and a different experience when you're hearing with my custom in-ear molds and I'm hearing the music properly and I'm hearing my parts properly. So that's the huge number one thing. I've been using this thing every day. I only have 4 sounds. That's all I need is 4 levels of gain. And this is where we're going to get into some of my caveats and my, not complaints, but my suggestions, I would say, and my criticisms for future use. So being dependent on the app is obviously okay when you're doing stuff like this. When you're in the room, I could just scroll over and turn things off. But I think what this really could benefit from is the ability to do effects toggle. And this could be through MIDI, or it could be a different mode. So on Quad Cortex, on the big ones, let me unplug that. On the big ones, we have the ability to switch our modes and switch our layout. If I'm dead set on this 1 amp sound, say I'm sticking with the 1 amp sound and that's where I'm living, I would love the ability to turn this into foot switch mode where I can have my effects on here. So you could just lock in 1 amp sound and maybe you can change the amp with the rotary dial. Maybe that could be something we do. Or this could adjust, or you could use this to adjust the signal chain. I don't know, something like that where if I want to change the amp, I can rotate this, but make these two into my effects toggles, because that's my main thing, is that I can't toggle my effects on and off. That's something that may stop me from using this live, because if I just want a box with amps, then I would just use my Tone X1. is much smaller. But this having built-in effects makes it more appealing for me to use. And I mean, we'll see when Tonex, the update comes out for the new Tonex, because that's going to be given some stiff competition here. But I do like the analog delay, and I like the reverb that comes in this box. So either that, or let us control the toggles via MIDI. That's something that I'm a little confused about. I don't know if if it's oversight, or if it's just not programmed yet, if it's coming or if it's not. You can't CC toggle effects. You can only MIDI presets, meaning I can only bank to presets. So if I have my 4 amp channels that I want to use, and I want to put a chorus on each of them, that's now got to be 4 separate presets. And then if I want to have chorus and delay, that's now 8 presets. And if I want to have just delay, now that's 12 presets. And you see how this number is just going to keep going up and up. That's just too much. Why can't we just simply toggle effects on and off? Or maybe, I don't know, I guess you have the MIDI expression pedal. I don't know if it can do like the line 6 thing where you have like FS extra foot switch things on like the line 6 HX stuff, where you could plug in and you have a 2-button foot switch and you can toggle things on and off. I feel like that would take this to the next level, being able to toggle effects, whether it be through MIDI or if it goes into like a pedal board mode. Like even, for example, while you're gigging, if everything is exactly the same, somewhere on the unit, if we can trigger that pedal board mode where I can then toggle my delay and toggle my chorus, that would make this way more flexible and way more usable, way more interesting for me to consider putting on my board. So overall, I would say that my status with the Cortex is really good. I still really like it. I really like the way the captures sound. I like the way the effects sound too. I like the way it sounds. I like that it's simple. One of my favorite things about this is that there is no screen. I know a lot of people, and this was like kind of a controversial thing about this when it came out, that there's no screen. I love that there's no screen. I love that there's no distraction, because you know what it's like as guitar players when you're practicing or when you're playing, you're so tempted to fiddle and you're so tempted to, oh, well, let me see what we got here. I actually love that you can't do too much of that. You could do it in the app. You can do things in the app, but just don't turn it on. I don't turn the app on. This has kept me locked in and dialed in, because I have my 4 sounds that are dialed in exactly the way I like them, and I can just plug in and go. I'm not looking at this screen saying, I wonder what this would sound like. I'm not doing that. With the touchscreen on, say, the Quad Cortex, for example, or any of the other modelers, you just have so many options, and you're just like, ooh, this might be cool here. And you just start tinkering. I know that's like it's not exactly a scientific point here, but I feel like as guitar players, you will relate to that sentiment. So I think it's better that it doesn't have a screen. I do love the footprint and the layout of this box. It is perfect for me, but I just wish that I could toggle those effects on and off. So overall, the feedback, the 1 month review, I'm giving it still high praise. I haven't done a ton of capturing with it because I have my 4 captures already done from the Quad Cortex, but if that's your thing, I'm sure it's fine at doing that just as well as the Quad Cortex is. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And so far, after 1 month, I have to say I still really love it. I do think it needs a little bit of love before it can get to that next level and potentially be on the go-to touring board. It's always changing, so anything on my board is always subject to change. I claim no permanence to that board. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.